Alright, this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we're going to have a juice off. We have two of my favorite Omega juicers here. We have the Omega Vert VRT330 on this side, and we have the Big Mouth juicer, the Omega Big Mouth juicer model BMJ330. So both these juicers do really well. They're each a little bit different. This is a vertical single auger style juicer, so this model is actually going to be a little bit more effective when you're juicing things like leafy greens. This one's not going to be too effective. But with something like watermelon, you know, still the Vert is overall going to be a little more effective and get a higher yield than this guy. But this guy, as you will see, it's going to be a lot easier to basically put the produce through the machine. I mean, it has a 3-inch wide feed chute, so we will have to do minimal cutting on this organic watermelon we're juicing today. So I want to talk a bit about watermelon. We're juicing organic watermelon, and you could juice the watermelon with the skin or the rind and the seeds, and it'll just go right through the juicer. When the juicer juices the seeds, actually, you'll get a little bit of a fatty flavor in the juice, and it actually make it taste like full-bodied and like a lot better. So the Vert is going to be much more effective at actually extracting some of the nutrients out of the seeds than, say, the Omega Big Mouth juicer. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and first use this half and process it in the Omega Vert. The few differences are this runs at a low speed. Basically, it's around 100 or 80 RPMs. This runs at a fast speed, 11,000 RPMs. So there's definitely also a noise difference. This is also quieter. This is a little more noisier. So depending on what you're wanting to do, this style of juicer got really popular because of the Jack LaLanne juicer on the infomercial. People could do minimal cutting and just throw the stuff in there, and it's going to juice really fast. This is going to juice slower, but it's going to get a higher, basically, yield and nutrient quality. So let's check it out. So first we're going to use this half of the watermelon, and we're going to have to cut it up so that it fits in the feed chute on the Omega Vert. So it's going to have to be cut into smaller pieces. So I like to do that by just going down and slicing it into pieces in this direction. And we're just making large slices. And then we're going to go back, so we're cutting on one direction now, and then we're going to come back and cut it the other direction. And basically make long pieces that we could fit in there. So once we got it that direction, we're going to turn it. Now we're going to cut this direction. And we're literally going to make watermelon pieces to put in there. Now I do recommend, it's always best to juice vegetables, but some people like to juice their fruits. I prefer to blend my fruits or just eat them whole if I'm going to do it, but I do juice some fruits sometimes. What happens when you're juicing fruits, most of the time, and watermelon's a little bit different situation, you're losing the fiber, and it's the fiber that actually regulates the sugar absorption, into your bloodstream. So you're getting like a sugar rush. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely better. Fruit juice is definitely better than Coca-Cola, but definitely vegetable juice is probably better than fruit juice here. So let me go ahead and make this last cut. And so this did take a little bit of preparation time, but now I'm going to turn the Vert on and just notice how quiet this juicer is. And really we're going to take just pieces and drop it in. And I really don't even have to do any pushing. As fast as I can drop the pieces into the juicer, it literally takes them in and juices them, rind and all, even the seeds. So as you can see, we're getting the pulp out here, and watermelon's really juicy, really high water content. You can see as the juice is coming out, it's not totally red. And if we, basically only juice the insides of the watermelon, it would be red. But the reason why it's a little bit darker is because of the rind and the seeds we're going to get there. So the Vert is currently my favorite juicer. You can see the pulp coming out. It's fairly dry, although we could actually, in the Omega Vert, one of the things that you could do is you can actually take the pulp and put it actually back through the machine, and it'll kind of press it out some more and to get a higher yield. And that you cannot do in the Omega Big Mouth. So as you can see, I'm taking, just 3 pieces at a time, just pushing them in. Actually, just dropping them in literally. And just let the machine work. You don't want to overfeed things too fast in the machine. Just let the machine take its time. Watermelon juice is a really nice treat on a hot summer's day. And if you are juicing the rind, I do recommend purchasing an organic watermelon. Because we don't know what they're spraying on watermelons that are not organic. And you wouldn't want to be probably drinking the juice from that stuff. So we're almost done here juicing this organic watermelon. Most of this is the rind here, so the machine works a little bit harder at it, but no problem for the Omega Vert to juice a watermelon rind. Last couple pieces here. Alright, so that'll do it for the Omega Vert. Let's go ahead and cut up this watermelon to put in the Omega Big Mouth juicer. We'll let that spin out a little bit more. And this is going to be a little bit easier. We'll just make literally like, I'll have to make about 3 cuts. Alright, that's probably about all the cutting I need to do on that. Now we'll turn this on, the Omega Big Mouth juicer. This one we will need the pusher, so watch how fast this juicer will juice watermelon. And you don't want to push the pusher down too fast, you want to go at a nice, slow, and even pace. Much faster to juice than the Omega Big Mouth juicer. This thing really cranks. Alright, so we're done juicing in both the Omega Big Mouth juicer and the Omega Vert juicer. So let's see, what juicer yielded more watermelon juice. Alright, so now we're going to check the yield on these juicers. Now, this is the Omega Vert juicer. It got approximately 6 cups in the Omega Vert juicer. And I want you to notice the color of the juice. The color of the juice is pretty consistent from the bottom all the way up to the top. And now with the Omega Big Mouth juicer, you can see the color is consistent up to here, but then it almost looks like you got a lot of foam. And so if we're actually just looking at the juice portion of it, probably got up to about little under 5 cups of juice. And this is a lot of foam here on the top. Yeah, so I'd say definitely the Omega Vert, definitely the winner here. A lot less foam, looks like a lot richer juice. Let's go ahead and taste the juice actually. Alright, so that juice was a little bit more watery. The Omega Vert juice, in my opinion, tastes a little bit better. Not much difference, but because the Omega Vert was actually more efficient at actually crushing up the seeds. Alright, so let's take a look at the pulp that came out of both juicers. This is the pulp that came out of the Omega Big Mouth juicer. You can see these seeds are basically still full and complete, and left little chunks of the rind that came out. Now let's look at the Omega Vert juicer pulp. And as you can see, there's little seed fragments. So basically the Vert literally crushed open the seeds to extract the nutrients from the seeds, and that's what gives the Omega Vert juicer, the watermelon juice, the full body flavor, because that has adds like a little bit of fat component in this from the seed. So you know, both these pulps are still fairly wet. You could probably wring these out in a nut milk bag if you want to get a little bit more juice out of them, or actually run them back through the Omega Vert. It would do no good to run it back through the Omega Big Mouth Juicer. So this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.